Lots of Americans have been laid off from their job or let go from their job. But right now is the time for you to be preparing yourself for when employers start hiring again. So we asked employment expert Jackie Ducci how in the world we're supposed to be doing that. Hi, Jackie. Okay, so first of all, Jackie, tell me the expertise that you have.
Sure. So I've been working in hiring for about 15 years. I'm a headhunter, technically, I guess that's the term. So I've been this go-between between employers and candidates for a really long time, sort of matchmaking and putting people in the right positions. So I consider my expertise to kind of be that insider perspective of how hiring decisions are actually made. I think a lot of times candidates go into those situations and they're like, oh, I wish, I could understand why the employer didn't pick me or they did pick someone else, and they never really know what went on, but I live my life in that in between. So that's where I can really be helpful to people.
Okay, let's talk about what is happening with the employment right now, and probably for the foreseeable future. What do you see happening in your industry?
I think what's amazing to me is that everything has just sort of changed overnight. So last week it was a candidates market, the economy is booming, we're in good shape, and now all of a sudden it's extremely volatile. And instead of there being this scramble, employers are laying off. So everything's just changed really quickly, and nobody's really sure at this point what to expect in terms of time frame going forward for things to normalize.
What would your advice be to somebody that perhaps has been laid off or has lost their job altogether right now? What would your advice be to them?
The first thing that I would say to someone who's just been laid off is to try to keep their emotions in check. And I know that that's a really difficult thing to do, but you want to maintain a good relationship with your employer, because at some point this whole coronavirus thing will blow over, the economy will turn, and these companies will be hiring again. And so my thought is you want to be the first person that they think of when they're ready to hire. They would much rather bring somebody back that they already know, that they don't have to train, as opposed to just open hiring and going to look for someone new. So maintaining that relationship, and your layoff is not personal, so don't take it personally, and keep that door of communication open with your current employer.
What about people that are thinking, maybe this is an opportunity for me to try something else when this all blows over? Is that a thing to be considering right now? Should they be getting their ducks in a row right now?
Absolutely, they can be. I mean, there are certainly industries that are still doing well. There are companies that are hiring. So if you're in that camp where you're thinking about looking, couple tips, I think there's a fine line between enthusiasm and desperation, and that's something that's really important for people to keep in mind. So employers love enthusiasm. This is something I talk about a lot because the company wants to know that you want to work for them. But at the same time, if they get a whiff of desperation, it's really unattractive in a candidate. So it's important when you're interviewing to just kind of be as cool and collected as possible. Tell them that you want it, but don't come across like you're just grasping at any opportunity. Because if you do that, they're probably not going to want you.
Okay, that leads me to my next question, which is these are desperate times. So how do you not, maybe you are desperate, how do you not appear desperate in the search for a job?
The biggest thing, I think, is just being thoughtful and conveying fit. So from the eyes of the employer, they don't just want someone who can do the job well. They want someone who can do the job well, who is likely to stay with the company long term. So if you can draw parallels to anything about the company or the job to why you're a good match, like if they have something in their mission statement that really resonates with you, for example, bring that up in the interview. Like the more concrete, specific things that you can bring, the more they're going to be like, wow, this person really thought about it and they really do want to be here. So then even if you do seem like you really need a job, it's going to come across much more sincere than just someone that's like applying for anything and hoping something sticks.
Is there anything else that I'm missing about this particular time when everybody has to stay at home? Is there something they should be doing? Should they be working on their resume? Should they be kind of searching the internet? What should people be doing so that when it blows over, they're hitting the ground running?
Sure. I mean, one other thing that I feel like most people don't think about is utilizing their network when they're job seeking. So it sounds like such basic advice, but I see so many people not do it. So, I think everybody's instinct is to look online and go to all these job boards, and it's really not the smartest way to search. I mean, you can dig up opportunities that way, but you're just one of however many random people just applying through a computer. Whereas if you actually know someone, maybe your best friend has an opening at their company that they can get you an interview for. It's just, I think the more human interaction you can drudge up, like call your friends, talk to people, and then sometimes that will lead to a really great opportunity that otherwise you would have never found. So just being open to how opportunities might come.
Those are all great ideas. Thank you so much for your time, Jackie.